through the comments. Now, if you guys, I'm not going to pull up on screen, so you guys can, if you guys want to follow along, okay, it's the things you missed, Easter eggs and callbacks video. So I'm just going to go through everything because there's people here who have questions, so we're going to do the Q&A. Then there's people who have called out references. We're going to go through that too because every scene in this movie is a reference. This is a question from Landon Magnuson. If Godzilla dies in Godzilla vs. Kong, do you think we will get a post-credit scene showing an egg starting to hatch, which happens to be baby Godzilla? No, I don't think Godzilla will die in that movie. I don't think either one of them will. So yeah. Okay, so Anthony Jordan movies and more. This is a Q&A question. He asked, what are the possibilities, in your opinion, that Ghidorah's head will grow a new body? I mean, I guess if he can regenerate, I guess it's possible, right? I think the question is, how long would it take for something like that to happen? Because I guess you would have to say, like, the brain would have to be intact, right? Which, in this case, it is. He ripped his head off by the neck. He was underwater. I don't know. There's really no way to tell. They didn't give any indication that it was capable because I guess if he was capable of growing his body back, some of his body would have been coming out already by the time we got to the end of the movie. Like, you would have seen a change. You would have seen some growth. It actually looked like his head was rotting, and I would believe that if his head was rotting, then he's not capable of growing a new body. So, all right, Steve Miller's question: what do you hope to see, and what do you fear most for Godzilla versus Dong next year? Did you just want me to say that? I don't have any fears right now. Honestly, I don't. But I will, once we start hearing more about the movie, then I can probably answer that question better. What I hope to see is a definitive winner, which I'm hearing that we're supposed to get one. So, yeah.
Runk the Funk tipped $6.90. Hey brother, I just got here, so I'm sorry if you already answered this, but what are your thoughts on the one newspaper article that says Monarch is building a mechanized giant on Skull Island?
Okay, I'm going to stick with Easter egg for now. Or just like a seed. Like, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I think it's cool because it shows that they pay attention. A lot of fans have been wanting Mechagodzilla in this universe. I don't know if we're going to get one. We got some good news today, and we'll get into that later. For those who didn't catch the video earlier that I put up, my car video, which, by the way, people are really letting me know that they like me doing videos from my car. That is so weird. Like, if I would have known that, I would have never bought all this shit, and I would just sit in my fucking car at 9 p.m. Like, seriously. But I do kind of want to know why. Just curious. All right. Thank you, Runk. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. I think they were smart by not saying Mechagodzilla, but a mechanized giant, because it could be anything. But that's also bad because, everybody's going to automatically think Mechagodzilla. And if they do pay it off and it's not Mechagodzilla, you're going to have a lot of pissed off fans. So we'll have to see. Right now, I'm going to say there's not going to be a payoff to that. I'm just going to say that was a seed planted if they want to go there. But in the end, it'll just be a nice friendly Easter egg and nothing more. Okay, so this comes from Jerix69. This I think is a Q&A question. I've asked this before, but I don't know if you've seen it. But how come people say Godzilla is just monsters fighting when I could easily say Marvel is just dudes fighting, or Jurassic Park is just dinosaurs running around? Also, how do the general audience like Jurassic Park, but stuff like that, but not kaiju movies when dinosaurs movies just a technically giant diet kaiju? That's actually pretty good. I would say that I think the idea that dinosaurs were real is what makes them exciting. It's not that people don't get excited for kaiju films. It's that they don't get as excited. Not like hardcore kaiju fans who just love that stuff. In terms of how people can accept all that and not accept it here, it's all preference. There are people who love the Jurassic Park series for better or for worse. Just like there are people who love the kaiju movies for better or for worse. So at the end of the day, it's all just preference. And yes, there are a lot of similarities. But, Okay, here's another question. This is from Balks. Hey, Rob, do you think they might have created Destroyer and King of the Monsters by unleashing the oxygen bomb? Um, I think they could use that to create Destroyer. I think definitely. Like, let's say for example, if uh, Jonah he takes the Ghidorah's head, right? You wants to use the DNA, and then they find a crustacean that actually survived. Hold on, let me get this. Let me get at this.
John Joseph Gray 4 super chatted $4.99. Hey Rob, could I send you a picture of the new ride?
Yeah, I don't know if you're on the nation, but if you are, you can post it there or message me. Or if not, my email, my channel email is in the about section of my channel. So either or. Thanks for the tip, by the way, too. I mean the super chat. All right, so anyway, his question was, could Destroyer come out of the movie from unleashing the oxygen bomb? I think it's a possibility if they wanted to go that route because, remember, Destroyer is a crustacean. Now, listen, interesting question from Balks, too, because when I read the very, very first leak last year, not the more recent one, the first one of the end credit scenes that the leak said, now obviously it was wrong, but I do find it interesting, was that at the end of the movie, Jonah actually confiscated or was on a boat in that water where the bomb went off, and he found some crustaceans that he felt that survived the oxygen bomb out of everything else that died, that it survived, and he took those. So interesting. Okay, so here's another question from Sour Octopus 259. What do you think is Under Skull Island, another skull crawler, a new Titan, a Titan being created by Alan Jonah? I do think it's a Titan being created by Alan Jonah through DNA. Some people think it's Bagan. Some people think it could be Gigan. I personally think it's going to be a Destroyer. For some reason, I have a feeling we're going to see him. I just get a gut feeling. He's very popular amongst the fan base. He's got a very cool design. He's also very grounded to the universe because he's a crustacean. So yeah, I think it's a Destroyer personally. Here's another question. Shin Rodan reviews. What changes would you make to Godzilla King of the Monsters? I definitely would make some changes. I think that's going to be another question to answer in a video because that's another thing that I kind of have to take time to think about, write out my ideas. So it's not something I can answer now, Shin Rodan, but I will get to it. You will see a video dedicated to it. So another question. This is from CB96 on I know he's here in chat, but he also asked a question. Wanted to ask, is it 2014 or King of the Monsters? That's another question that I'll have to answer at a later date because I haven't decided yet. But that is the most common question I'm getting, so it's going to be definitely in a video. All right, this one is from Phoenix Flyer 25. Do you think there was an actual behind-the-scenes effort to purposely tank this movie, considering how biased most critics are? It seems that most of them are in bed with Disney. I don't think so. I mean, kaiju movies have always not been very popular. One of the things that Gareth did so well in the first movie was... Let me address this first. All right, cool, John. I'll check them out after the stream.
John Joseph Gray 4 super chatted $1.99. Thanks again, Rob. I sent you 2 pictures.
So anyway, yeah, I don't think it was anything going on behind the scenes. The critics never really respond well to kaiju movies. I think what Gareth Edwards did so well was he filmed it very well. Despite the cutaway scenes, I know a lot of people didn't like those, but he saved the best portion of the movie for last. Like, even though people complained, it was actually and this is what I keep saying, like, Gareth filmed it for the general audience. He left the money for the end of the movie. He did not overindulge people. He gave you just enough to satisfy you and then want more. And I think general audiences and general critics, because critics are a general audience, I think they appreciated that. Hey, Rob, you said before that the Monsterverse was too grounded and serious. This is from HP Studios. To facilitate some of the more campy and unbelievable kaiju from Toho roster. However, I feel that the King of the Monsters was closer to a Showa-era movie, which I agree. Do you believe that characters like Gigan or Mecha King Ghidorah, See, I said it right. Will fit into the MonsterVerse currently. I don't know. I still think there's monsters you could use that are a little bit more grounded. I do agree with you that it's definitely Showa-esque. That's the feeling I got after watching the movie. But you don't want to go too far. You want to try and strike a balance. So I don't think bringing in monsters like Megalon and Mecha King Ghidorah would do it much justice, but who knows? Who knows? Uhu say, hey Rob, in what direction would you take the MonsterVerse and how would you end it? I would definitely do Destroyer, and I would probably end it with Destroy All Monsters. I do Godzilla vs. Kong. I would do Godzilla vs. Destroyer, and then I would end it with Destroy All Monsters, and that's it. That's how I would do it. This one's from Mr. Smiler. Rob, do you think Legendary will ever bring back Michael Dougherty? Do you ever bring Michael Dougherty back if they do more movies? I hope they do. As he stated in an interview, he'd like to do a War of the Gargantuans film. I'm not going to hold my breath, though. I never saw that video. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure he'd come back to do more movies. Whether or not we ever get a War of the Gargantuans, I don't think so. Figment of Your Imagination asks, do you think some of the new original Titans that appeared in King of the Monsters may also appear in Godzilla vs. Kong? I do. I do think that's a possibility. Especially after the end credits. All right. Rob, do you think it was a mistake to move Godzilla King of the Monsters from March to May 31st? This comes from Dylan Blurton. No, I think they were trying to avoid what came out in March? Why did they move it?
He really grows on you, doesn't he?
Kevin Royce subscribed to the channel.
Hey, Kevin Royce, man. Thank you so much for subbing. I appreciate that. And also, once again, thank you for your donos. Thank you, everybody, tonight for your donos and your tips. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I don't laugh myself to death. I don't want to miss out on what anybody has to say, or don't want to miss out giving credit to people who are taking care of the channel. You know what, Dylan? I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe I'll make a video dedicated to that too, because that is a big subject. That is a question that's come up multiple times, but I have to kind of look back and see what was the purpose. I know there was a purpose as to why they did it. I just don't remember. I don't know if it was a certain movie they were trying to avoid. Because let me see, Avengers came out what? The end of April. So yeah, I don't know. I got to look into that, Dylan. Sorry about that, buddy. There'll be a video about it, though. We'll get into that. This one comes from Phantom Lim. If we ever get a Mothra solo movie, do you think using less popular Godzilla villains in them might work better? For example, Mothra versus Megaguirus. I feel like that would be the perfect way to do that villain again without feeling like a repeat. Plus, as an adversary towards Godzilla, I don't think it works.
Stephen Miller tipped $3.33.
Thank you, Steve.
Godzilla vs. Kong was originally going to release on May 22nd, but moved to March because Universal is releasing Fast and Furious 9 was coming out May 22nd as well.
Okay, so that's Godzilla vs. Kong. I was wait, hold on. Did you say Godzilla vs. Kong or? Yeah, so that's Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm trying to figure out why they moved or was he asking? Maybe he said it wrong. Now I'm confused. All right, we'll get back to that. So anyway, Phantom Limb wants to know if using more ambiguous Toho villains in a Mothra movie would work. No, I don't even think a Mothra solo movie would work. As much as I like her, and a lot of people are thinking very highly of Mothra in this movie. I mean, maybe you could pull off a Mothra movie, but I do think you need a recognizable villain. You need one of those old. See, during the Showa era, those movies got repeated over and over and over from the 60s all the way through the 90s. The movies that came out in Japan during the 90s weren't shown on TV that much until the late 90s, early 2000s. So a lot of the people who saw these movies during that time are familiar with the Showa monsters. And those are why, that's why Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra were chosen, because those are the most recognizable amongst the general audience. So you kind of have to pull monsters from that era. Yeah, so I think if you're gonna do a Mothra movie that works, you're gonna have to have a Mothra movie that has a familiar monster. So obviously Ghidorah wouldn't be it because they've already established that Ghidorah, well, dead, number one, and number two, just too powerful. So Manny asks, do you think the egg in the end credit scene is Mothra, and do you think she'll be back for Godzilla vs. Kong? Yes, and I think there's a high possibility because the twins are going to be back for Godzilla vs. Kong. So
Super chatted $2. Rob, would you ever like to see a 54 remake?
no, that's blasphemy. Blasphemy. No, I wouldn't. I don't think they need to. I don't think you need to remake that movie. I don't think anybody would be brave enough to try. I think that would be like, I don't think anyone would be brave enough to try that. Rachel, oh, there it is. Rachel Army Brat. Rachel Army Brat. Rachel!
Rochelle Army Brat super chatted $5. What do you think about having two Mothra larvae hatch in Godzilla vs. Kong, like Mothra vs. Godzilla?
I like it. That would be really cool. I actually like that. Two Mothra larvae? Yeah, because it's kind of always been like that, right? Yeah, I like it. I'm down with it. You know, I don't know if they'll have a big part to play in the movie, but I do think there's a chance Mothra's going to pop up again. And she'll pop up as, you know, she'll pop up. Because, and, you know, like I said, we got the twins in there as well. So, yeah, I like that, Rachel. I do. And Rachel, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Yeah. Rachel! Question. Oh, this one's from Jimmy Gillentine. Question for you, Rob. What could have been changed in the movie to make it more palatable for the general audience and the characters that the MonsterVerse survives past Godzilla vs. Kong? And remember, guys, this question was before we got that article today. So, believe it or not, and this is something the fans would have hated. A very similar approach to what Gareth did. I think a longer movie, but I think little teases that lead up to a bigger fight. And I think it might have actually played off better here because in the end, you could have made a bigger fight sequence in the end. You could have given us more Mothra and more Rodan while still giving us Godzilla and Ghidorah. I don't think a pit stop fight was a bad idea, like the one they had in the water. I think what I think they should have done is when Ghidorah gets out of the ice, Godzilla makes it there, but he makes it there. Hold on.
Luis Tomato super chatted $2. Mothra's a better feminist icon than Captain Marvel.
And I also think she's prettier than Brie Larson. All right, so yeah, what I would have done was maybe have Ghidorah escape before, like, Godzilla gets there late, Ghidorah's gone, and we follow Ghidorah's path of destruction, but you don't necessarily see him all the time. And then I would have liked to have seen a short spat between Godzilla and Rodan. But again, that requires a little bit more thought for me to give like a better explanation of how I would have done things to favor the general audience more.
The Big Bad Rascal super chatted $5. Do you think making all these references to the Godzilla movies of the past hurt the movie's appeal to the GA?
I do. Actually, I kind of do. Because nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Except us. You know what I mean? Like, look at every review on Rotten Tomatoes, even the good ones. Nobody mentioned the fucking twins, which was a pretty big callback. It wasn't even a callback. It's part of the story because she's going to continue in Godzilla vs. Kong. So when you have callbacks like that, and some of them you put out there right front and center, if you're not a hardcore fan, you're not going to see it.
Stephen Miller tipped $3.33. If Mothra comes back in Godzilla vs. Kong, it must show a scene where Mothra bites Godzilla's tail.
Yes!
It has happened at least one movie in each era.
Yes. Oh, I like that. I like where your head's at.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.